So we are now live. We are broadcasting live. Welcome everyone. My name is Steve Pacinelli. I'm with BombBomb, and as you know, and the reason why you signed up for this webinar, I am here with Tom Ferry, Coach Extraordinaire. We are so excited to bring you the content that we have here today in a more conversational format, not a PowerPoint presentation. We're not going to go through a bunch of slides. This is going to be more off the cuff. We're going to listen to questions from the audience as well. So we're going to have a great time here today on this webinar. I do want to say that we have a couple other people helping us out here. This is the biggest webinar that BombBomb has ever held. 2,104 people registered. So yeah, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of questions coming in. So we recruited the help of my buddy James over here. And Mark over there with Tom Ferry as well to answer your questions, to feed us questions. James is, even though James only has 9 fingers, James has 9 fingers, but he is one of the fastest typers. So, you know, talk about overcoming obstacles right there, Tom.
Right. That's awesome.
9 fingers, and he's the responder for us. So let's kick this off. Let's not waste any more time. And Tom, I was thinking, I was like, should I do a proper introduction of Tom? I'm like, well, we have limited time. There's a reason why 2,100 people registered for this webinar. They know who you are. That's why they're here. So let's just get started with the questions.
Sounds great.
Sounds good? All right. So the first question I have for you is, you're a coach. You've been a coach for a long time. You've interacted probably with more agents than almost anyone else in the industry, and help them with their business, holding them accountable, helping your coaches, coach agents as well. Who do you turn to when you need help? And who do you turn to hold you accountable? And who do you look up to in the industry?
That's a great question. That's good. I haven't had that question in a while. So I don't think it would shock anybody to hear that I also have a coach. I was on the phone with my coach yesterday. Her name is Sundari. And she's not a typical business coach. She's was referred to me by some friends that have worked throughout Australia and throughout Africa. She's really the person that they would call in during maybe a national crisis to help work through some of the organizational leadership issues. So she looks at things very differently. She's used to massive disasters and massive problems. Not that I'm trying to make that happen. But her point of view is so unique. So, she was grinding on me yesterday with some pretty tough questions, as I am reflecting, probably as everyone is, Steve, looking at, maybe the last year, or in my case, we were reviewing the last 13 years, and then looking forward not only into 2016, but also 20 years out, which is kind of something we're working on now. So yeah, her name is Sundari, and I've had my last coach was a gal named Teresa Jabor out of Toronto, an amazing individual. We worked together for almost 10 years, and now she coaches a bunch of the other speakers and coaches in my organization.
Awesome, awesome. So now that we know a little bit more about you, let's tell everybody what they're going to hear throughout the rest of this presentation. We're going to break this down into a few different topics. We're going to talk about planning. We're going to get into strategy, and then we're going to go into the tactics that people should be using in 2016 and beyond to execute on the strategies that they are creating for themselves. Business planning is so important. You've identified 6 mistakes that people make while planning and doing business planning, and we're going to get into those 6 mistakes here in a second. But it's almost January. Is it too late to plan?
Oh, absolutely.
Did you miss the boat?
Yeah, no, absolutely not. I was on the phone yesterday with one of the CEOs of a company that I'm very involved with. And, though we have sort of an overview of what we want to accomplish as an organization, they're going from last year, $450,000 in revenue, this year, $2.5 million, next year, a stretch goal of 7.5, sort of minimum 6.5. And organizationally, we know who we are, but where they're trying to figure out now, Steve, is what are the values of the company? What is the purpose of this company? And who are we sort of in this ecosystem? And then quite honestly, we won't even have a financial budget until March. So there's specific reasons why. I would think for the average person watching today, 2 hours and a simple business plan, and they're going to be in the running, if you will. The thing that I would stress though for us is all of us, our business, right, goes in 90-day cycles. So, the things that I'm working on today, we know are February and March income. So I would just challenge anyone that's out there today that hasn't taken the time to identify first their goal, secondly, break that down into a daily number, which maybe we'll talk about, maybe we won't. So at least they know that they can take that big goal. I want to make $200,000, $2 million. I know exactly how many people I need to talk to every day, and then start quickly aligning their behaviors now. That's probably the bigger issue. So I guess the simple answer is no, it's never too late.
So where should someone start? It's defining those goals, but if you haven't planned before, where should they start in that process? And does the planning look different if you are an experienced agent or a newer agent, or is the planning exactly the same?
Well, the essence of a plan is exactly the same. The difference is an experienced agent can reflect back on various lead systems that are working for them, processes that are working for them. They've got maybe a better tempo of their business, their own DNA. So where the new agent might just be saying, so what should I do? The planning process is the same, right? It's, what is, I'm so visual, I can't help it, guys. What is your vision, right? And then, what is the specific goal? I was on the phone this morning with one of my clients, Shauna Covington, number 4 individual agent in the world for Berkshire Hathaway, number 1 in her marketplace, about $2.2 million in GCI. And, her goal next year, $2.5 million. We identified she's got to do 45 transactions. We identified she's got to take 51 listings in order to get there. So that whether you're an experienced agent or a veteran agent, I think it starts there. What's the goal? How much income do you want? How many transactions based upon your average sales price? I like to focus on how many listings taken versus listings sold versus buyer controlled sales. And then what we know today, and for everybody, for everyone watching, is if you know your daily number, that's the key. So like I always tell people, what if you knew that you only had to talk to 11 people a day to make $400,000 a year? What if you knew you only had to talk to 6 people a day to make $200,000 a year? That most people don't know that real estate, not, and I know we're going to talk so much about it, Steve, because you and I share the same value that this is all relationships, right?
Right.
There's relationships with people like you and I, we know each other. And then there's relationships with people that I'm getting to know, right? At the end of the day, real estate is all about relationships, and business is all about math. Business is numbers. So, if my goal is 45 transactions, what I know is you times that by 40 conversations to 1 sale made, right? That's the number, 40 conversations to 1 sale made.
Across the board, for everyone.
Right, for everybody. I mean, across the board. Now, maybe I'm talking to a brand new agent who has no sphere, no database to turn to, no relationships. Maybe they move to this marketplace. They might say, gosh, Tom, I think for me it's going to be a lot harder. And I would say, well, then I know strategy, right? You can either go after the easier opportunities, or you can go after the harder opportunities. I'm a big fan of go after the easier opportunities, the ones that are most likely to do something, right? So if I'm brand new, why not go after the fastest source of business opportunity, AKA a for sale by owner? I'm brand new. Why not go talk to 10, have 3 invite you over, and then drip on 1 until you get the listing, and then repeat that month in and month out, right? Less conversations, more connection, easier targets to go after versus what some people say to brand new agents is work your friends, do some open houses, hope and pray for some floor time.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just have a different opinion. I mean, you and I both know that there's an 87% failure rate amongst brand new agents every 5 years. So we got to pay attention to that. Yep. So, I think once they times this out and then you divide it by 10 months and then you divide that by 24 days a month, your daily number, and you get to work.
So if an agent's doing that and they're following your process, and honestly, as you said, it's a numbers game, and it's simple to start putting that together and start letting people know about your goal to hold you accountable, of course. What are the 6 mistakes that people can make, though, if they do that? You don't have to go over all 6, but what are these things?
Yeah, I mean, there's probably 100 mistakes that people make when it comes to writing plans and setting goals. I would just say to you, probably the obvious ones are, it's not clear and specific. It's not measurable. How much of what by when. They say, I'd like to make more money than I made last year. I hear that all the time. And I say, that's great. So if you made 100 and you make 101,000, are you happy? And they're like, no, I'd like to make more than that. So you want to be clear and specific. That's the first one. You want to break it down to the ridiculous. Again, you want to know every day exactly what I'm responsible for. And then, probably the third biggest mistake that I see people making is they don't have their goals up and visual, that there's no scoreboard that even if they don't have accountability, at least if I've got a scoreboard that says I'm going to work 260 days, and on those 260 days, I've got to make, 7 conversations a day. And every day I do it, I write it up there. You and I both know it's math, right? If I scoreboard, it's visual. I know what I'm doing. So, if you look at the book, The 4 Disciplines of Execution, which I would encourage everybody to read, certainly between now and the end of the year, the book, all it says is, ready? Number 1, know your wildly important goal. Number 2, act on the daily numbers. Number 3, have a scoreboard. And number 4 is up your cadence of accountability, the rhythm of accountability. So when you look at the mistakes that people make, it would just simply be the opposite of those 4.
Gotcha. Now, you actually came out to the Bomb offices what was that, about a month ago or 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, and you saw at the Bomb offices, we have that huge scoreboard with everyone's name on it and all of our KPIs, our key performance indicators. And so everyone else can see how you're doing. And that was scary when I first came over to Bomb to have everyone see my numbers, but you become accustomed to it and it makes you better. So I believe 100% in what you're saying there. What are some key performance indicators that agents should use in their business to track how they're doing, besides just, did I hit my end goal, my numbers?
Yeah, I mean, so the KPIs for us are easy. So I would break it into, we're gonna have marketing KPIs, right? And let's just, for easy sake, Steve, what's the stuff they have to do, right? People get lost in KPIs and the language, right? So just right. What are the disciplines? What are the activities? So you're gonna have marketing, right? And then you're going to have basically the numbers side of your business. And let's call that, for example, days worked. What I like to refer to as how many hours of power, right? How many times you're going to get on the phone and call your past clients, call your sphere, do your lead follow-up, go after whatever sources you're going to do. You're going to certainly track the number of conversations, right? That's that daily number. Some people like to track leads. I get it. I'm not a super fan of it, but I understand. So,
and Tom, could you just move over a little bit so we can see?
I know. Which way should I go there? There we go.
That's good. Yeah, there you go.
Days work, hours of power, conversations. How many people did I talk to? How many leads did I generate? And by the way, this should probably be broken down by source, right, Steve? Like, how many leads did I get from my database? You should be converting 10% of your total database right now into an annual transaction. So everyone listen, whatever the size of your database is, if you have context marketing, you are creating relationships, you're bringing them value, you should be converting 10% of your total database into a transaction. I mean,
can you define, okay, so define context marketing, or should we move that to the next topic?
Here, and then listen, I mean, we could spend days on that one. I'll give you the breakdown, right?
Okay, yep.
Obviously, listing appointments, listings taken, listings sold, buyer appointment 1 versus showings, and then buyer sales. So days worked, hours of power, how many conversations, how many leads by source, how many listing appointments by source, listings taken by source, listings sold, buyer appointment, initial conversation versus showings. Super important that we separate those two and you acknowledge your conversion on initial buyer appointments, whether you ask them to sign a buyer brokerage agreement or not. What number of buyers do you meet with that actually start showing property and then ultimately write an offer? By the way, with the velocity of the market the last 3.5 years, a lot of people are now tracking how many offers are written in order to make a sale.
Yeah.
Right? So it just empowers you to talk to your customers to say, listen, I've been selling real estate for, 7 years, and I know my numbers. There's a science to this business. I know that today the average number of buyers I work with have to write 11 offers in order to get one. Now, the question you have to ask yourself is, do you want to be better than those numbers? And if that's the case, we have to write offers that are higher, better terms, etc. Right? I just think the more numbers we have and the more data we have in our business, the more we are the expert in the eyes of the consumer.
Right. I would agree. And James, if you see any questions as we're going through that from the audience or recurring themes, let me know and I can ask Tom. But while you're looking for those right now, let's go back to that context marketing, because I saw some video clips of you describing context marketing and how to do that in today's day and age. Because this interview is supposed to be for 2016. So has context marketing changed for 2016? Is it different than 2015? It's only a year. So what do you see there?
I would say let's first of all, in my opinion, and there's a lot of opinions on marketing, and this is just one guy's opinion. I believe in a multi-channel, approach. So I've got some clients that they love the phone. I've got others that text messaging is the only way to reach them. I've got others that if I hit them up on Facebook, I'm going to get a response from them, but they may not answer the phone ever. But for whatever reason, Facebook's their thing.
Right.
We're seeing a mass migration today of people our age, right? Home buyers, home sellers, second home, third home, etc. That Instagram now is the place that they go to. So when I share with people a marketing campaign today, and this will, kind of a longer version, but I think it'll bring some value to a lot of people. So Steve, let's say I list your house.
Okay.
So I'm going to shoot a video, obviously on that home. So, a property video. I'm going to take that video and I'm going to do a 15-second clip on Instagram. I'm going to take that video. I'm going to email it to my entire database. It's going to be hosted on my website. It's going to be hosted on YouTube as an example. I'm going to take that link from my website because I want the traffic at my site, and I'm going to put that on my Facebook page. I'm going to put it on my Facebook business page, different because I can then boost it out.
Sure.
I'm also, looking down the list so far, it's going to be email. I've got the video, Instagram. I'm going to put it on my site and obviously on YouTube. Facebook business page. I'm even going to put it on Twitter. I'm going to put it on LinkedIn. And here's the goal. I'm going to do all of that, plus I'm going to do the mailers and I'm going to do the open houses. Multi-channel approach, recognizing that there's people that are going to resonate in each one of those, where the old model perhaps was just, I take a listing, I put it in the MLS, I do a brochure, we do an open house. Maybe I email it to my database, maybe I don't. Today, the people that are crushing it are recognizing context marketing is, I'm going to speak to that customer in their model of the world. You with me? I'm going to give it to them in their model of the world. I can't afford, as a business owner, to be selfish anymore. I have to serve the needs of my customers. If my customers are on YouTube or on their mobile device or on Instagram or on Twitter, who am I to pass judgment and say, nope, I like email only, right? Or I only want to do print. You've got to do it all today if you want to touch people in their model of the world. So for me, that's one side of context marketing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Just to dive maybe just a hair deeper, what if I'm allergic to Twitter? I hate Twitter, don't like using it. Does it still make sense for me to broadcast and only broadcast and not use it at all? Is that worse? Or should I just say, you know what, let me just take Twitter out of the equation?
Listen, again, there's a lot of debates, but you touched on Twitter. There's a lot of debate right now about the viability of Twitter. I'm going to say this. I wouldn't bet against Twitter. So, a lot of people struggled with, like, how do you use Twitter? I'm a big fan of listening on Twitter, going in and hitting the search and finding out the things I want to see, what's going on. It's a fantastic device for that, fantastic app for that. So if you don't like it, just use it as a broadcast tool. That's what I would say. Use it as a broadcast tool. acknowledge anyone that retweets your stuff or likes your stuff, and most importantly, at least have some sense to follow up if people are responding to you and saying, "Hey, Steve, nice, nice. That's a great house," etc.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, don't discount it, but here, you know what it is. I come from this philosophy that there is no wrong way to generate a client. Right? There's no wrong way. Like, some people like it on the phone, some people like it face to face, some people like it video, some people, they want me to knock on their door. There's no wrong lead source, right? And there's no wrong to do it. I mean, that's integrity and honesty. You can't walk by and steal somebody's laptop, right? I mean, that would be bad. Sure. There's no wrong way to do it. And because I've got that philosophy, I'm just always open to making sure that I'm staying in the right medium, if you will, for the people I'm trying to influence.
Right. Right. So, James, was there any recurring themes that popped up? Because we talked about planning. I want to get a little bit into the trends, the 7 trends, and then get into the tactics. But go ahead. Yeah. Do you have something?
Just one. I mean, this is obviously like a shameless, promotion for BombBomb. Right before thanks, another piece of context marketing, especially in the world of email today. So if you're taking notes, write down, there's a difference between email and me-mail. Email and me-mail. And if you pay attention, certainly as I do, I've got 250,000 emails that we send 2 times a week, Steve. So we understand the value of email. We have very high open rates and very low drop-off. So we pride ourselves on that.
Right.
And yet, before Thanksgiving, I got on my phone and I sent, 65, 66 private BombBomb videos to many of the biggest CEOs in the US and Canada and Michael Pulser, Mark from Europe, right? And the response rate that I get, I mean, this is crazy. Dave Liniger, right? Chairman of a little company called Remax. I send, "Hey Dave, it's Tom. I just wanted to wish you and Gail a wonderful Thanksgiving. Hope you guys are having fun with your family. And just want to let you know that I appreciate you and all that you've done for myself and my team. Love you, man. God bless, buddy. Have fun. Take care." Boom, video ends. I send that. Now, you and I both know, I'm now checking Gmail, and what do I see? Dave Liniger just opened your email.
Right.
Dave Liniger just watched your video. A couple hours later, Dave Liniger just watched your video again. Dave Liniger just watched your video again. That's marketing in 2016, right? We're so busy, and I get it because I understand this. We're so busy pushing out these big messages that we forget about the one-on-one contact. So what I'm telling everybody today is you should send every client that you interacted with this year and last year a private message. I like to call it a gratitude video. And think about it in the context of send this versus like the CD that listen, if you send me a CD with Christmas music, I am going to throw up in my mouth, right? I don't even own a CD player, right? I've got a Sonos, Christmas music, boom, right? And yet the number of clients that are already doing this, Steve, "Hi, I just want to say, hey, Steve, I was thinking about you. Just want to wish you and your family a wonderful holidays. It meant so much to me that you allowed us to help you with the purchase of your new home. And though the transaction was challenging at times, and though it was certainly, arduous and tricky, we were able to do it. And it just prides me to know that you guys are in your new home and you love it. So I just wanted to tell you, thank you. Thank you for allowing us to be a part of the transaction and to be able to serve you. We wish you and your family a wonderful holiday and a great new year." Boom. And or send me a Christmas CD.
And you just hit upon the point. We're in a leadership meeting here at BombBomb. I actually exited out to come do this webinar, and we were talking about BombBomb's core competencies and values, and it's not automating relationships, and that's exactly what you just touched upon. You can't automate relationships, and there's so many tools out there today that try to automate something that should be authentic, and what you just did right there was an authentic touch.
Yeah.
Dave Liniger, all the other CEOs that you emailed and you got responses because you went through. Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to quickly, and I'm getting some feedback from that as well. But I'm going to quickly bring up a little link that people can click on. And if anybody's interested in trying out BombBomb for free, no credit card required, and here's the key: they get all your scripts. They get your challenges. They get the Tom Ferry verbiage, which you can't get anywhere else in a free trial. I'm going to put up that link right now for everyone, and you can click on it and sign up. This website will just be up for a day or two. And so we recommend, if you're not a BombBomb user and you want to try out Authentic Relationships, give it a shot. You should be able to see it on your screen now or very soon, and click the button and sign up, get a free trial, get all your scripts. I mean, you have great scripts in there to tell people what to say in their videos, right?
Yeah, we do. Hey, I have to say, I just walked over to look at what Mark was giggling about. Somebody said, "Damn, I sent a cassette." I guarantee that person was being facetious, but yes, that's good.
Well, it's not old school. You know, that's retro. Retro is coming back, Tom. So, you know.
I think you should send a record. Like, if you're gonna go that old school, send a record. Like, that would be cool.
Yeah. So awesome. Well, so I think we made it through the planning. We have a couple more segments because we're going to talk about overall strategies and tactics, and you've identified trends, some trends that are occurring, right?
Yeah. Can I throw one more little piece in, especially for the veterans on the line, just on business planning?
Yeah, please do.
The thing that I watch that is just mind-blowing for people is, like, in our business plan, we say, here is every possible lead source you could have gotten business from. And to watch, Steve, the number of people, that don't know. They say, this is what I hear all the time, my business comes by way of referral, and maybe I get like some internet leads. And then we break down transaction by transaction, and they realize, as one of my clients did recently, I did 17 transactions that originated from open houses, something that she used to deem as a total waste of time. Now, we changed the strategy of her open house, and the results have skyrocketed. But here's the point now. Now, when she's planning for 2016, she's not thinking about doing, 18 or 20 open houses. She's asking herself, what if myself and my team did over 100 open houses in 2016 with the same numbers applied? It would be, you did 30 and you did 17 direct deals. Could we do 100 and maybe do 40 transactions, 30 transactions? So it's very powerful to know exactly where your business came from. And then you ask yourself, how do I get more from it? How do I do more from it? How do I make that more of a turnkey system or process for the way I run my business? And then the other side of that plan is then you get to then say, now this is where I want to put my concentration. So
right.
One big mistake that people make is they don't look at what I call the TAM, the total addressable market of my area, and forget the filter of what lead sources I like or don't like. Do you like walking into the bank and cashing checks? Do you like serving customers? Look down that list. Pick the ones that you feel are right for you, maybe based upon your track record, your DNA and experience, and then write your marketing plan. When they write their marketing plan, everything changes, Steve. I bet 2,100 people on the line, I bet less than 10% don't have written goals. These are gamers that are watching this video. So they've got their goals. I would challenge, though, if you don't have a marketing plan written and you're still waking up like the first week of January saying, what are we going to do? That's like a strategy of rolling the dice and going to Vegas. So to break down each of the categories of lead source, the 4 core, my database, my online marketing, any one of those platforms, my geographic farms, arguably one of the best listing attraction strategies today, or open houses, just those 4 core lead systems, a marketing plan every month for the email, the mail, the online promotion that's going to go out, so they don't have to guess anymore. So I would really strongly encourage you to do that, even just for the first quarter, so you don't have to guess, you just follow it. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. Would you recommend, if they have these 4 core things that they put together and they're finding that the one of the 4 is always the bottom one, do they swap that out, or do they still push through? Is it okay to have a loss leader in there?
Here's the deal. So I believe in having more lead systems than less, right? We know, just based upon our research and study, that the agents that we're working with that are selling 75 homes a year, 100, 200, 300, 500, they've got 15, 18 different ways that they're generating clients. The emerging new customer that's coming to us, and I say emerging like their business is emerging, but they could be a 20-year veteran, they've got 3. 3 and they don't have a plan for it. So it's like their database that they never call and don't market to and have never appended the data. So they got a bunch of Larry and a phone number, but don't know who that is.
Right.
Maybe they do open houses, but they don't really design it as a way to prime the neighborhood to get listings. And, maybe they're getting some floor time or some updesk or some relocation, but all that stuff is very like, come on 7. And well, in this game, you don't win, the house does. So you take that emerging person and you start adding on 2 or 3 or 4, 1 or 2 aren't going to work at the level they want this year, but next year and the following year, it could be a total game changer. So I wouldn't be cutting it out. I'd be thinking about how do I do it better?
So, and one easy, this is an easy target right here because people think that online leads, lack of a better word, suck. It's like, oh, those online leads, they're not any good. They're not any good. Do you see that someone working online leads longer, even though if it wasn't successful in the beginning, can they punch through? Is it just how they follow up, or any suggestions on following up with those online leads?
So hold on, I'm gonna read you something that I posted on Instagram last night late from one of our clients, Ricardo, down in San Diego. Hey, Tom, I sent out that global email to my whole database like you instructed us to do on your video. 4 days later, I wrote 3 offers and got 2 accepted. Thanks. So here's my response to your old email leads, your old online leads. Just, hey, Steve, right? So it's got to be personal. You don't want to have it be a blanket. So it's got to have their name in the, hey, Steve, are you still thinking about buying in 2016? Hey, Steve, are you still thinking about selling in 2016? And nothing else, just that in the subject line. That's all Ricardo did. Now he's got, because he's, a Boomtown user and a Zillow, acquirer of leads, he might be sitting on 300 or 400 leads where maybe somebody watching has 30 or 40.
Right.
The same apply. I told somebody recently, treat your leads like your children. You're not going to give up on them. You're going to nurture them. You're going to do whatever it takes. Some people mature faster than others. And I'm 100% okay having people that are signing up for our programs today that we first engaged with 6 years ago, but because we were willing to continue to nurture and establish relationships and provide value and send Tom Ferry shows and everything else, 5 years later, they call and say, hi, I'd like to sign up for your program. Was that a worthwhile endeavor? I would say yes.
Absolutely. So there's an incubation period is what you're saying. You never know. Great. So talking about 2016 and moving forward, do you see any, and we sort of touched upon this, but we didn't go down that path yet. Do you see any drastic changes in terms of tactics? The book, The Art of War, and I'm sure you're familiar with that book, was written, 2,000 years ago. People still read it today because strategy stays the same. The tactics are strategy is eternal, tactics change. So what tactics do you see in 2016 that a lot of agents aren't doing yet? And I can think of one right off the top of my head because I see you doing Facebook live feeds, which maybe we'll get into that. Do you see that? And what are some of the other good ones?
So, when I shared this sort of formula of a listing launch a minute ago, that is without a shadow of a doubt one of the hottest ways for you to get the word out in a wide variety of platforms. So that tactic is really working right now for a lot of people. Surprisingly, the things that are on the uptick, the trend, if you will, and I mean, if I had time, I would go into Salesforce and, because all of our clients are tracking and measuring their business, contacts, leads, systems, and, where everything's coming from. I'm surprised at today how online lead generation, old leads are crushing right now. People that are just, the market has finally matured. We've had another 1 million homes just in the last quarter go from underwater to now in the positive. So we're seeing a lot of the benefit of those changes that have taken over now 5 years from the old market. Without a shadow of a doubt, video is crushing. The epidemic of facelessness. I mean, Steve, how many times have you been with friends now and you're like, hey, I sent you a text, and they go, I never got it. Now, maybe your friends don't do it, but I have a 16-year-old boy, my son. I'm like, hey, bro, I sent you a text. You didn't respond. He said, "Oh, Dad, I never got your text." Well, guess what? I actually saw the bubbles, the bubbles that he was before he stopped. So you know what I do now? Now I just send him little videos. I just go, "Hey, what's up, Michael? Hey, Steven, just want to check in, let you know I love you and I'm thinking about you. Send me a response. Otherwise, I'm going to take your phone away." Boom. And there's just something about when that video shows up. That's very tactical today, right? Very tactical. Video, whether it's in follow-up, pre-appointment priming is super important these days. Post-appointment follow-up, those kind of tactics are winning. Direct mail is crushing it right now. Crushing it.
What do you think?
Well, the blinding flash of the obvious is everybody stopped doing it. Right? If everybody stops, it's the 180-degree theory. Everybody raced on. Do you remember when LinkedIn became like everybody's deal in all of real estate? Like somehow we were going to link into Bill Gates' LinkedIn system and suddenly have all of his relationships and conversations. And people were going around the country teaching agents how to use LinkedIn. And guess what they all did? They all linked in with each other in the office. You with me? Yeah. I mean, it was ridiculous. So, the reality, I say that because so many things have happened. So many things have happened online and electronically that we have stopped doing some of the things that still are the tried and true. Direct mail, open houses, making phone calls. You know what I mean? Like those things are totally on the rise. If I talk to you about all the top teams we're working with, you know what they're saying is killing it right now? Knock, knock, knock in their farm. "Hi, my name is Tom Ferry. Just want to say happy holidays. Here's a little, tchotchke gift," whatever, that face-to-face interaction. Now I know as people are watching this, they're like, "Oh, Ferry, come on, man. I don't want to do that." That's what all the best people are doing, and that's where they're killing it right now. So from a tactical standpoint, it almost feels like it's 1996.
Wow. So, but do you just see a difference in the types of postcards, farming mailings that agents are using? Is it a more 2016 2015 variety, or is it the same old, here's what's happening?
So okay, let's talk about that. So a good friend of mine last year won the Direct Response Marketer of the Year award. That's a pretty prestigious award. He is the CEO of a company called Geographic Farm. Prior to that, some of you might remember he launched remember the Sensa? Remember that stupid idea of shake this white powder on your food and lose weight? Yeah. Well, he took that company over when it was doing, 40 million and drove it to 170 million. He's one of those guys. He doesn't wear a suit. He wears a lab coat, like a white lab coat. He's a scientist of marketing. Well, when we look at like his, Geographic Farm and direct mail, there are proven strategies that work. A great headline. Okay. Right? A great headline, a great picture, clean and simple. Have you ever looked at most real estate agents' direct mail? Yeah. It's like, what was that, what was the gal who sang the song, "Call Me Maybe," right?
Oh, yeah.
Like they have "call me" 43 times on the postcard. Call me now, call me with 7 exclamation points. Most agents should never do their own direct mail because, well, you see the kind of stuff you put out. Bad photo. If you think a headline is just listed, you know nothing about marketing, right? I like first time on the market in 15 years, comma, but not for long.
Oh man, that's
a headline, right? Like, your neighbor's about to sell for $100,000 more than the last sale in your area. Find out how.
So what you're doing there? Sorry, go ahead.
No, go.
What you're doing there, though, and what I'm hearing is everyone else is telling or providing data. You're providing a story, and people love stories.
Yeah, 100% yes. 100% yes. It's interesting. I'm sure. Remember the Google Ignite? Did you hear about that? Google invited a whole bunch of people to come to the Google headquarters and hang out, and it was fascinating because Google that has they have all the traffic, right? So they can survey customers and talk about what's important and what's not. And one of the key moments for me during that very long, very exciting day of training with Google was that when they asked How do you select a real estate professional? The number one answer, 49.1%, was trust. Number two was experience, like 13.8%. And then the next one was demonstrable ability to negotiate. And that was like 11 point whatever percent. And then it was like personal referral was like number 4 on the list. By the way, brand was the last one on the list, which was rather startling to me because I've always seen a lot of data that showed brand matters. But when you think about trust, you think about experience, and you think about demonstrable ability to negotiate, the single greatest marketing piece that every agent should put together right now and then send it in December, January, February, and March. Do it on your Instagram, your LinkedIn, your Facebook page, do a YouTube video about it, is to take a simple postcard like this with a map. This is a map. And you upload every closing that you have, right? You take your transaction list and you upload it into Google Maps, right? And all of a sudden you get that map of every one of your closings. And over here, you say, thank you. You know, we had 57 families trust us with their most important negotiation of the year.
Another story.
So that's the story, right?
Yeah.
But I understand, see, if Google tells me that trust is the number one word, if track record, essentially experience, and demonstrable ability to negotiate essentially make up 70% of the reason why we select our agents, I'm putting that into a marketing piece that I'm going to put all over the internet and mail to my database and mail to my farms and mail to every old lead 3 times over the next 90 to 120 days.
That's brilliant.
Does that make sense?
It's brilliant. That's so, and this might be a tough question to answer. And I know we're running short on time, but how can an agent, a newer agent, establish trust or show someone that they're trustworthy?
My office. You just change it to my office. Now it's even better. There's going to be a lot of bubbles, right? Thank you. We helped 1,357 families trusted our team here at Banana Realty with their most important negotiation. If we can help you, here's my photo, here's my phone number.
That's brilliant. So, okay.
You leverage your company's success, and you're the only one with a face and a phone number. And every manager I talk to and every CEO of a company, you know what they say to me? Awesome. Yes, get that for all new agents. That's a great idea.
So yeah, you shared a lot of great ideas over the last 43 minutes of this webinar here. You talked to more agents than probably almost anyone else out there. That's where you get all these great ideas. How can someone take advantage of your knowledge and your expertise? What if they wanted to go a little bit further?
First of all, thank you. I would say 3 things. First, go to my Facebook page, facebook.com/Coach Tom Ferry, right? Coach Tom Ferry. It's me in a black suit with a white shirt and a black tie. Like that, because then you're a part of our ecosystem now. A little over 100,000 people in our business around the world are playing with me there. I would also say my YouTube channel, subscribe to that and plug into some of the ideas that we're sending out on a weekly basis called the Tom Ferry Show. And then I would say to you,
Tom
right?
Ferry.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, you watched a bunch of those. Thank you. I appreciate that. I love doing it. And the response is really positive. Then I would say, if you're really ready to level up, right? If you're ready to really take it to the next level and you recognize, like I do, I'm only going to do what is sort of my habitual way of being. So the reason I've got Sundari is kind of what got me here, Steve, won't get me there, right? The disciplines and the routines and the habit and the mindset and the skills are only going to get me more of the same. Well, my company's been growing by 55% year over year the last 3 years. We're going for a quantum leap over the next 3 years. So I needed a new level of thinking. I needed a new level of exposure, and I needed a different style of accountability. And that's why I hired my coach. So I would say, go to tomferry.com and there's a big button on it that says 2016 BYE, your best year ever. We have a business plan there. We have a marketing plan there, a bunch of scripts there. I would say go there and just download all that stuff for free and just jump into it, right? Just jump into the ecosystem of the plan, the marketing plan, and more. And let's work together and make next year extraordinary.
Yeah, and I just popped up an offer on the screen that our viewers should be able to see for the free business plan, the CEO manual, the coaching consultation.
Cool.
And they can click the button. If you're on a mobile device, though, just so everyone knows, if you're on a mobile device, you're just going to see the video. You actually have to stop the video to see the offer. But if you're on a laptop or desktop, you should be able to see the offer there. But Tom gave you the website address, and the same idea for the BombBomb offer as well. If you want to try BombBomb for free, you can go to bombbomb.com/Tom, and you have to go to bombbomb.com/Tom, and you get the scripts there too as well. So,
can I send that out on my Facebook page today?
Oh yeah, please. Yeah, please do.
Cool. Yeah.
Tom,
so, that would be the thing I would say. And just hearing, by the way, now Mark said the CEO manual is on there also.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So normally they would have to buy that for $297. So if there's anybody out there that needs to get organized in order to have next year be better, just that one about 85-page manual called the CEO Systems Manual is like our gift to you. So it doesn't work unless you open it up, read it. We give you the framework of all the checklists and all the systems you've got to fill in for your local market, your brand, your MLS rules, etc. The meat of it, but the framework is all there, which will allow Steve, a lot of people to get more organized. Yep. And when they do, their business goes up every time.
Cool. Well, Tom, I know you have a hard stop here. I want to thank you for your time. It was absolutely unbelievable. I learned a lot, and you're inspiring too. Every time I talk with you, you have so much passion and energy. And just James and I are sitting here in the room like, yeah, we're ready to go do something. Come on, James.
Let's do it. Yeah, let's do this. Let's do this, Tom.
So we appreciate you, your whole team, your coaching team. If anybody wants to take Tom up on his offer, please do click that link beside the video that you see there on your screen. Any final parting words, Tom?
I would just say this, my friends, that listen, at the end of the day, life is short. Life is really short. And as I think about my own team now, nearly 200 of us here at Tom Ferry, your coach, my mission with them is to have them have their best year ever. And my friends around me and my family members and my loved ones to have their best year ever. And my clients to have their best year ever. And I would say the same thing to all of you that maybe I've never been exposed to, that, why not? I interviewed 5 of the biggest chief economists in real estate and housing over this summer, and every one of them said the same thing. We've got 4 to 5 years of this type of market, which tells me, you're either going to ride this wave or you're going to be way in front of it, totally dominating. And I would challenge you to get out of your comfort zone, think a lot bigger, dream a lot more, because the market is on your side and you are the hottest trend in real estate. Have 2016 be your best year ever. That's my blessing for all of you.
Awesome. Well, high five, Tom. Thank you so much for being here with us. James has a hard stop as well here too.
Thanks, Tom.
Give Tom's program a try. Try out BombBomb. Thank you guys for joining us. I hope you have a great holiday season.
Woohoo!